This is the latest generation of the Audi Q7. This is the Premium Plus package and is spec'd at $67,000 with the Black Optics package. The Audi Q7 has been running for 19 years in production and is Audi's longest running SUV. This is the facelift to the previous generation. As you can see, there's more of an aggressive outside. The interior is absolutely fully updated. And there's just little refinements Audi has made to continue to put this on the forefront of the luxury SUV market. This is a true 7-seater and will be compared to other 7-seater luxury SUVs out on the market. With Audi's 19 years in production of the Q7, it's a testament to how beloved these things are amongst the community around the world. In this video, I'm going to go over all the things you need to know about the Audi Q7 and this facelift generation, and really help you decide if this is a vehicle for you and your family. It's not for everybody, but let's help you decide. Please remember to like and subscribe to the Car Dad YouTube channel so you do not miss the next upload. All right, and moving on to the exterior of the Q7. As you can see, compared to the prior generation of the Q7, there is quite a few changes. One of the things that Audi did was make this look a little bit more refined, especially for the newer generation, with a more aggressive look. One of the things they did was add this beautiful belt line, more defined belt lines along the vehicle, and also along the hood. You get LED headlights as standard with the massive grille in the front. This grille is part of the Black Optics package. That includes a black grille, black side grills as well, with these optional 21-inch wheels down here. You get black window trim, black roof rack, and also black trim on the bottom. Overall, the side of the vehicle looks fantastic. The front looks amazing with that massive grille and those beautiful headlights. Let's move on to the back and see what's changed there. All right, moving on to the back of the Q7. For this generation, the facelift provided you with fully functional matrix taillights. You've got this trim right here. For the Black Optics package, they still don't make this black, which a lot of people are trying to figure out why Audi did that. Luckily for 2023, they did listen and they made that black. Overall, this back end is fantastic looking. One thing to note is that you do not have real exhaust tips, and that's not something you get until you go for the SQ7. But for the Q7 itself, you do not get real exhaust tips, which kind of sucks, but it looks just fine as is. It's kind of something that's standard on most vehicles nowadays. So unfortunately, that's the way of the world, and I think it's to look more electric, but that's just my opinion. With this particular vehicle, I optioned it for the tow package, which has a 7,700 pound towing capacity, which is quite significant for a V6 of the size. You really can tow anything you really need for what most people would tow. But overall, it's a nice option to have, even if you don't use it. It helps with resale value, but also it's just nice to have as an option. Moving on to the power plant of the Q7. This has the 3-liter V6 with the turbocharger. It also features a mild hybrid powertrain, which has a 48-volt battery that is utilized for stop-start and being able to utilize all the functionalities such as power steering and whatnot. It does help a little bit with fuel economy. It's about 18 miles per gallon city, 23 highway, with an average of 20 miles per gallon. I've seen about 23 miles per gallon highway on average for my personal use, which isn't too bad figuring the size of this SUV. This power plant has 335 horsepower, 365 pounds of torque, which is plenty for towing mid-sized boats, mid-sized trailers, but also for the variety of things that you would do with your family. This is by no means a very powerful engine, neither this or the inline-4 that you can option this with. But if you wanted something a little more powerful with a little bit more giddy up and go, I would go for the SQ7. But for what most people need, this Q7 3-liter V6 is plenty enough. Moving to the cargo area, people that are considering the Q7 as their SUV typically have cargo in mind, especially with kids, dogs, and all the activities that you plan on doing with your Q7. With the third row, although a third row is nice, it doesn't leave you with much space for cargo. As I'll demonstrate with a full-size stroller, there is absolutely no room for your full-size stroller. Not even if you put it on its side. The only strollers that are going to fit properly are probably more travel ones or compact that you use for traveling. That might be an option for you if you want to have that third row up and utilize it as such. But what you need to do is pretty much just put the third row down. With the third row down, you will have ample cargo space. That's usually how I utilize it, especially with dogs and children, and also car seats. So we'll go back here, press these buttons down, the third row drops, and then you have plenty of space. And now with that, the stroller fits just fine. But even so, you can see that a full-size stroller takes up quite a bit of space. But otherwise, you do have quite a bit of space you can put anything you really need. With that third row down, you are able to access this area right here. Now, one of the downsides of having the Bang & Olufsen system and also having the mild hybrid engine is that there is no spare tire. So what Audi does is they provide you a small pump and also fix-a-flat. So for most of you, that might not be comforting enough, especially on longer road trips or taking this on light off-roading. But they also include a toolkit. Again, the little air compressor. And this right here is also where your subwoofer is for, again, that Bang & Olufsen sound system. So if that's a sacrifice you want to have this power plant, then you'll have to deal with, unfortunately, no spare tire. But sometimes that's fine for people that are just taking this on normal highway drives and smaller road trips. With that, we do have a small cargo area right here. Cup holders back there for the third rows. And then let's move on. All right, with the second and the third rows down, you can see there's plenty of space back here. You could take any amount of luggage that you need, whatever you desire, you can do it with all these seats down. There is plenty of space. But think about this. You could easily fit an air mattress back here, take this camping with you. You and your significant other can stare up at the stars through the panoramic roof. It's quite nice. So think about that next time you think about the cargo space in the Audi Q7. All right, moving on to the front of the interior. Now, when you think of Audi, you think of amazing interiors, high quality and great design, and this is no exception. What Audi did for this in response to the massive screens in most interiors of luxury cars nowadays is they did it in a more tasteful way. They split it into 3 different screens. We first have Audi's virtual cockpit for the driver. We have the upper screen in the middle being for MMI, having Audi's homegrown MMI system, Apple CarPlay, and also Android Auto, which you'll use for maps, music, and whatnot. Most people won't use the Audi MMI itself, but it's there and it's fine. But using Apple's CarPlay or Android Auto is definitely the preferred. And then the lower screen is for HVAC controls with the heated seat buttons, shortcuts for the radio, and also your home link. We've also got the start-stop engine button right here. We've got your parking assist with your cameras button, so you manually can turn on your cameras for parking. But then also you have your Audi Presense settings, whether you want it to be sensitive or not sensitive. But they also have this beautiful manual volume button right here where you can change the track forward or back. So it's nice to have that functionality in a manual form in comparison to a lot of cars where they put it up into the screen. But then the center console is fantastic. You've got these great cup holders with a spot for your key when you're not using it, a 12-volt socket, a beautiful shift knob, parking brake, and then you've also got wireless charging, some space for coins and pens down here and up here, but also 2 USB-C ports, which is great. An adjustable armrest, some beautiful open pore trim with piano black trim as well up here, which blends nicely in with the screens. For fingerprints, utilize a microfiber cloth with some distilled water, and it works just fine. It's not too big of a deal. I've experienced with owning this car for 2 years, but for some people, when the screens are off, you might notice it. It might drive you nuts, but otherwise, not too bad. We've also got these giant bins on the side of the doors. You can fit any 2-liter bottle you need, or your Yeti cups, or as we all know them, the Stanley cups, which are massive, but it fits. Trust me, I know. But also, as you can see, we've got this trim right here that turns on when you have something in your blind spot. We've got blind spot protection right there. We've got A Bang& Olufsen sound system, which is amazing if you're into music, get it. If you can swing it, get it, because it's a phenomenal sound system for the money. It's not too expensive of an upgrade, but you're gonna not regret getting it, I promise you. All right, and next we've got the second row. The car seats fit just fine. We've got the front seat moved up to where a grown adult would sit. If you had two car seats back here, that would work just fine for those of you that have two children. With that, for longer car rides, you could fit two grown adults back here just fine, especially since there's ample leg room, especially in that seat and this seat. Both moved to where grown adults would sit. While you're on road trips, you've got your center armrest with two cup holders, decent sized cup holders. Not going to fit anything too large, but your typical can or cup will fit just fine. For those longer car rides, we do have an airy panoramic sunroof, especially helpful when you have the black headliner. We've got LED map lights right there, and also two USB-Cs down here with a 12-volt socket, and then fan speed adjustments with all the controls you'd ever need. We also have the nets back here for storage. These seats move backwards and forwards, lots of adjustability. We have ISOFIX points on each of the seats. And then for the third row, I'll go ahead and demonstrate the space that's back there, or maybe the lack thereof, but this is how you get back there. Just drop that down, push right here, and then flip up. And then I will crawl back there, shoehorn myself really. And as you can see, now let me put down the front seats. We have very little space. And if I put this chair down, you'll see it's very hard to fit back here as an adult. Children will fit back here just fine. It does have ISOFIX points back here, but I would not suggest fitting any car seats back here. It is tight. It is technically a 7-seater, but really 5 fit comfortably with the 2 in the back, maybe good for dogs or, again, small children. All right, and on that note, this brings us to the dad score. All right, and first up we have styling. We're going to give that an 8, since the Audi Q7's refined good looks is what you'd expect from an Audi, especially when optioned with the black optics package. For comfort, the Q7 is going to get a 9. There is very little road and wind noise when driving, especially if optioned with the air ride suspension. Whether with the springs or the air ride, the ride is buttery smooth and you can't go wrong. For quality, the Q7 gets a 9. The build quality is nothing short of exceptional. From the interior materials to the exterior panel fitment, it's exactly what you'd expect from an Audi. For performance, the Q7 gets an 8. The turbocharged V6 provides more than adequate 0 to 60 times for a bit of spirited driving, especially while paired with the buttery smooth 8-speed transmission. Practicality, the Q7 gets an 8. Although a true 7-seater, the third row is only usable by children. Otherwise, the Q7 offers a great amount of cargo behind the second row and a slightly smaller than desired amount of space behind the third row. And for value, the Q7 scores a 7. The Q7 offers quite a bit of technology and safety, paired with the typical Audi styling for a bit less than the similar competitors, but still comes in at a premium price tag. All right, so we've given the scores for all the categories. Now, the overall dad score for the Audi Q7 is a 49 out of 60. Thanks for watching.